Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
The Durham Bulls are gearing up for baseball and a big fireworks display. I'll show you what the forecast will look like.
Grilling danger. A local man faces a long recovery after fire destroyed his home and vehicles. The warning from authorities as you light the grill this holiday weekend.
And ballpark pyrotechnics, how the Durham Bulls are preparing for the biggest firework display of the season.
It is a beautiful 4th of July out there. A few areas could see some isolated storms along the way today. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Renee Chu. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at where storms could pop up and our increasing chance of coastal low on Sunday. Also the beautiful DBAP.
Yeah, it looks great out there. They're getting all ready for a big game and, of course, a big fireworks display. And the weather is looking great out there, actually. One thing that we are not seeing is a lot of humidity. When you step outside, it will feel hot, but if you can find a shady spot, you'll notice, oh, it feels pretty comfortable. And that's because our humidity is low, lower than it normally is this time of year. That also bodes well for fireworks this evening at 7 o'clock, 85 degrees, at 9 o'clock, 82. And our chance for showers and thunderstorms, it really goes down after sunset. It is going to be a hot afternoon. 93 degrees will be our high, and Saturday looking at 91. Sunday is a little bit cooler because we're looking at that potential for a coastal low that could bring us some additional rain on Sunday, possibly even into Monday. Our chance for showers and thunderstorms for this afternoon is minimal, just a 20% chance. And then, as I mentioned, after sunset, we should see any that did develop moving right on out. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll take a look at the low pressure system developing off the coast of Florida that could bring us some rain toward the end of the weekend.
Chris Lovington here in the WRAL Live Center with a breaking update out of Texas right now. We are talking about deadly flooding that is unfolding right now in various parts of that state. San Antonio has seen some flooding, and we also have seen some flooding happening in Kerrville, Texas. What you're seeing right here is from the city of Kerrville. And do you see right here, like the water that's rushing there, the debris that's in it? These are the conditions that people are dealing with right now. In terms of how many people have died, that is not quite clear. Authorities simply saying right now they can confirm fatalities, but not in actual numbers just yet. We're watching very closely to see if there are any rescues that are unfolding, and I'll update you as soon as I learn more here in the WRAL Live Center.
Chris, thanks for that update. Today, a man is clinging to life after a house fire in Grays Creek Tuesday. The home on Thrower Road was destroyed. WRAL's Carly Haynes explains how one family's holiday looks a lot different this year.
Aaron English will be spending his 4th of July here at UNC's burn unit. Family members say he's on life support in a medically induced coma. He was inside this home. Grays Creek Fire Department said it went up in flames Tuesday around 10:30 p.m. English had been sleeping inside. He managed to get out, but not without severe injury. Doctors confirmed 65% of English's body is burned and his condition is extremely critical. They currently estimate he'll spend at least 9 months in the hospital, followed by physical therapy and surgery. The fire department says the fire's cause is something that a lot of people could risk doing this weekend. We're going to tell you that coming up on WRAL at 4 and 6. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, Chapel Hill.
Crews are also trying to determine the cause of a fire that destroyed a house in Rollsville. A viewer sent us this video to WRAL, and you can see the intense flames near the garage. Sky 5 also flew over the scene on Redford Place Drive. 2 people made it out safely thanks to the fire alarm.
A 5-year-old girl police say was shot during a road rage incident is back home. Emma's family sent us new pictures this morning, and judging by the smile on her face, she is in good spirits, but she has a long road to recovery. Cary police say Charles Stevenson Jr. was driving aggressively on Monday when he allegedly shot into a pickup truck, striking Emma in the leg. Stevenson is being held on no bond. He is due back in court later this month.
We have a live picture right now of the White House, where President Donald Trump is expected to sign his colossal tax cut bill in less than 5 hours. Democrats did everything they could to delay the vote on the nearly 900-page document. NBC's Monica Alba reports the debate over the bill exposed fissures in the Republican Party.
Overnight, President Trump confident he can sell his signature legislation to the American people.
Yeah, I think it's very popular.
After taking a victory lap outside Washington, touting the passage of his mega bill at an Iowa rally celebrating America's founding.
There could be no better birthday present for America than the phenomenal victory we achieved just hours ago.
While lashing out at Democrats for opposing his so-called big, beautiful bill.
They wouldn't vote only because they hate Trump. But I hate them too, you know that?
The legislation is a major win for the White House after weeks of negotiations and marathon sessions in Congress.
The motion is adopted.
The bill passing 218 to 214, with 2 Republicans joining all Democrats in voting against it. The vote came after Democratic Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke for nearly 9 hours, breaking the previous record for the longest House speech in history.
No matter what the outcome is on this singular day, we're going to press on.
The bill extends the Trump-era tax cuts from 2017, eliminates taxes on both tips and overtime, and includes billions for immigration enforcement and military spending. It also means cuts to health care programs like Medicaid and Planned Parenthood, SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, and clean energy tax credits. Faced with some opposition in his own party, President Trump spent hours on the phone and in meetings trying to convince Republican holdouts to get on board. Trump persuading lawmakers like Congressman Andy Harris, who had concerns about the trillions of dollars the legislation will add to the deficit.
But is that caving?
Well, if not, though, you got it. Winning is caving? Well, if winning is caving, then I guess we caved.
Democrats now trying to use the bill to hone their midterm message.
There have to be consequences to these votes.
That was Monica Alba reporting. The bill also includes a $40 million boost to build a Garden of American Heroes. It would be part of the nation's 250th milestone celebration next year. But there is uncertainty around the logistics of the project and whether it will come together. Highly regarded artists question the ability to deliver statues in time without sacrificing quality.
250 statues. Is that achievable in 1 year?
Oh, no, absolutely not. That's not in America. You can maybe get some of this stuff done in China really quickly, maybe not such a high quality.
And those in the art world say the materials are really low and there is not time to source the block of marble from the mountains of Italy. Trump envisions an eclectic mix of historical and modern figures from Christopher Columbus to Muhammad Ali to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Melissa Walker of Carolina Bronze Sculpture in Randolph County expressed serious concerns with the project.
I'm afraid in less than a year's time, it's going to be a giant field and nothing much will be done. They haven't even picked a site yet, and they still have so much work to do to get the site ready to put sculpture in.
One source working on the project says the goal is now to have between 25 to 50 statues complete by July 2026. Ultimately, a total of 250 will be installed in the following years.
Give you this live look right now out at the DBAP Durham Bulls Athletic Park. A long-held tradition continues today. Baseball and fireworks. Bulls fans will enjoy the biggest fireworks show of the year, and there are also shows planned for tomorrow and Sunday, so all weekend long. WRAL's Ali Kadlubar gives us a look at the preparations for tonight's event.
It's going to be a packed stadium tonight, only standing room available. Now, fans may have their eyes on the diamond during the game, but after, it'll be all eyes on the sky. Check out this video from last year. Red, white, and blue sparkling in the sky. This is what people will see tonight after the Bulls take on the Tides. First pitch is set for 6:35, then fireworks pop off at 9:15. It's the largest fireworks show of the year at the DBAP. If you can't get a spot inside, Durham Parks and Rec says people can watch from the grassy area behind Diamond View 3 and several spots downtown. This is only the beginning of a packed patriotic weekend. There's some spots available for tomorrow night's game and more spots available for Sunday night's game. Both are going to be followed by fireworks. You can check out Durham Bulls website or WRAL.com for details. Reporting in Durham, Ali Kadlubar, WRAL News.
The city of Raleigh is also hosting its 4th of July show, but a new place this year. It'll happen at the Lenovo Center in Carter Finley Stadium area. The gates are expected to open at 6 p.m. for that. Fireworks will begin at 9:30 tonight. That event was previously held at Dix Park. WRAL Out and About has a list of more than 24 local fireworks displays and holiday events. Just search fireworks on WRAL.com.
Next at noon, Marines from North Carolina are headed to Florida. How they are expected to help immigration enforcement.
Also, fewer crime-related issues in Durham schools. How resource officers there are doing it.
Plus, they shop the world for the best and brightest booms. What the Macy's fireworks show will look like tonight.
Coming up next, see storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL weather app. Download now for live radar.
About 200 Marines from our area are going to Florida to help immigration enforcement. The Pentagon says the troops from Marine Corps Air Station New River in Jacksonville will be mobilized to work with ICE.
Meanwhile, the first group of detainees arrived at the new facility known as Alligator Alcatraz. A group of lawmakers tried to visit the facility amid humanitarian concerns and were not allowed to enter. WRAL Hubbard reports.
The detention center dubbed Alligator Alcatraz has received its first group of detainees. Located in the heart of the Florida Everglades, the facility was recently transformed from a training airport into a temporary tent city for migrants, sparking backlash from immigration rights activists, environmentalists, and the state's indigenous community. A group of Democratic lawmakers tried to inspect the grounds Thursday afternoon, but were stopped by law enforcement officers.
The water is rising. It's seeping through tents, and we're demanding access because we are Americans.
The Florida Division of Emergency Management cited a safety concern as the reason they were denied entry, but did not go into detail. Video captured at the facility earlier this week showed barbed wire fencing, rainwater on the floor, and a tent roof blowing in the wind.
As soon as a hurricane blows over that thing, it's going to blow apart like matchsticks.
President Donald Trump toured the detention center on Tuesday. Trump said putting undocumented immigrants in a place surrounded by alligators and snakes is a security tactic, deterring detainees from becoming escapees.
We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison.
A joint news release by lawmakers who attempted to visit said the facility is about, quote, inhumane political theater that endangers real people, end quote. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the state built the facility at the request of the federal government and claims the center is as safe and secure as can be.
And that was WRAL Hubbard reporting. The facility can hold 3,000 people. Detainees will live in tents and repurposed FEMA trailers. It's expected to cost $450 million per year to operate.
And construction on a new ICE detention center in Florida could begin as early as Monday. That new facility would be built at the Camp Blanding National Guard base. Planners say the base has an existing airfield, which provides options for direct deportation flights. However, the Florida Division of Emergency Management says the existing dining facility likely would not meet federal standards. A document from the agency notes showers, bathrooms, and other facilities capable of supporting detainees with disabilities would also likely have to be constructed. The Department of Homeland Security is preparing to cut 75% of the staff tasked with developing and sharing threat intelligence with state and local partners. A source says this will reduce the Office of Intelligence and Analysis by about 750 people. DHS says it is removing redundant roles or those working on non-critical programs. Some Democratic lawmakers warn these cuts could create dangerous and unnecessary security gaps.
One of the largest fireworks shows in the nation takes place annually in New York City, and you can watch the Macy's fireworks show tonight at 8 right here on WRAL. NBC's Mark Barger has a preview of tonight's show.
Tonight will mark the 49th edition of the Macy's Fireworks Spectacular.
Each and every year, innovation is key for us, and we continue to try to make the show bigger and better and more fantastic for our audience.
This fireworks test last month in the Mojave Desert, just part of a year's preparation for tonight.
Shopping around the world for fireworks. We've got some really cool stuff this year that has never been seen in New York before. This year also adding the Brooklyn Bridge.
Roughly 30,000 fireworks shells will launch from the iconic bridge. And earlier this week, crews were busy preparing the additional 50,000 shells that will fire from 4 barges along the East River.
Some aerial shells will actually have 8 different effects, lasting 8 to 12 seconds, rather than just your usual few seconds for a typical firework.
Oscar winner Ariana DeBose will host tonight's broadcast, which will feature performances from Lenny Kravitz, the Jonas Brothers, Ava Max, Keke Palmer, and country stars Eric Church and Trisha Yearwood.
Well, the 4th of July is always a party, right? And so you're going to have a great crowd. So I think that's the thing I look the most forward to.
Yearwood's also releasing her new album, The Mirror, later this month, and she has special childhood memories of the nation's bicentennial 4th of July in 1976.
They had a reception at the bank where my dad worked, and my sister and I remember us dressed in red, white, and blue and being in the lobby serving punch and cheese straws to everybody that came in.
But Yearwood sticks to singing tonight as pyrotechnics fill the air.
Take a 25-minute break from all the noise and enjoy some art in the sky and some spectacle. So that's been our motivation since day one.
An enduring effort to celebrate the nation's independence. Mark Barker, NBC News.
And crews are using 12 different computers and 8 miles of wires to synchronize the fireworks with the music. They'll also be shooting some horizontal fireworks over the water as well. It's going to be so beautiful.
All right, we have been talking about it for days, and we'll have a couple of days to continue to talk about and see the effects of what we're tracking here in the tropics.
Yeah, so there's a low that's developing off the coast of Florida and Georgia, and whether it becomes tropical or not, it is likely to push some rain our way and increase our rip current danger along the coast over the weekend. So let's jump right out and take a look at it. And right here, you can see these bright yellow and orange colors. This is where it's starting to develop. You can see it looked pretty well organized earlier this morning. It's beginning to become a little bit more asymmetrical right now, but likely to continue to develop as it moves up the coast. And here's a look, 60% chance that it develops off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina and potentially moves up toward North Carolina. Here's a look at the model plots. It is something that we have our particular hurricane models tracking right now. And look at how they're clustered here offshore and then come inland into South Carolina and then right over the triangle. That's where most of them are. There are plenty of outliers for that as well. But what will happen if it moves, if the center moves inland, it's going to weaken most likely, and it'll have less impact along the coast. However, they will see plenty of rain. All right, we're going to kick this off tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. There's the center of circulation, and it sits off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina for a while. We'll pause it at around 7 a.m. on Sunday. It's still pretty far to the south, and most of the rain is out to the east of it or to the north of it. So Sunday during the morning, we'll start to see some rain on the coast. We will have some showers and thunderstorms here on Sunday, too. Some of that could be fairly early in the day. And then it starts to move inland here in South Carolina during the day Sunday, and then is likely to continue to push some rain potentially into our area as we get into the day on Monday. It may pull away on Monday, but we'll see how that goes. Check out Futurecast. This is Saturday afternoon. You can see some showers and thunderstorms right there along the coast, but we're going to be pretty dry here on Saturday. On Sunday morning, again, it's mostly down to our south, but by lunchtime, we begin to see some waves of rain moving through. Some of that will be, potentially heavy at times with some blustery winds. For Sunday, looking at a 50 to 60% chance of storms right now for our area, but a 70 to 80% chance, especially for our central and southern coast. The heaviest rain is likely to stay offshore, but right there along the coast, especially our southeastern coast, we could see maybe 2 to 3 inches, and for us, maybe up to an inch, and that would include both Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Southern Pine's looking great. I'm surprised we don't see more people in view there enjoying this pretty day. It is on the warm side, but our humidity has dropped significantly, and we're going to talk more about that coming up in just a little while. But our fireworks forecast at 7 o'clock, 85 degrees, at 9 o'clock, 82. We do have a 20%.
If you're thinking about buying an electric vehicle, now is the time to act. President Trump's tax and spending bill scraps the $7,500 credit on new EVs and $4,000 for used EVs. Analysts say removing the tax credit will make EVs unaffordable for most lower and middle income consumers. The tax credit expires September 30th. And for the first time in its 117-year history, UPS is offering buyouts to full-time drivers. The company is trying to save money due to rising labor costs, a slump in the company's stock price, and stagnant delivery levels. UPS employs about 330,000 drivers. They are among the highest paid drivers in the country.
Amazon is shutting down its free streaming service next month. The ad-supported Freevee app allowed customers to watch TV shows and movies. Freevee launched in 2019 under IMDb, the film and TV site Amazon bought in 1998. Amazon says moving forward, users can access free shows and movies on Prime Video without buying a subscription to Amazon Prime's loyalty program. The new Nintendo Switch could cost more after President Donald Trump's trade deal with Vietnam. The new deal imposes a 20% tariff on imports to the U.S., which would mean the Nintendo Switch 2 could cost 20% more. Industry leaders believe demand will outpace supply through the rest of the year, regardless of the higher price tag.
Trending down, school resource officers in Durham report fewer crime-related issues in schools. A look at how these officers are keeping those students safe.
And making life easier, from answering questions to rewriting a resume, programmers say AI can do it all. How the technology can also handle your shopping for you. And here, have a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. We'll be right back.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
School resource officers in Durham are setting examples statewide in how they work with young people who get into trouble.
Durham is the #1 in the state of North Carolina for referring young people to community resources rather than criminal justice. WRAL's Monica Casey is live at the school board building. And Monica, the board is pretty proud of those stats.
That's right. Even in the summer, school safety is top of mind. It was a unanimous decision by the school board here to continue their contract with the sheriff's office to provide SROs in public schools here. The data shows a steady decrease in the number of calls for service to SROs in schools. That number was just over 600 for the past school year, including some more serious crimes like threats of mass destruction, guns and knives seized. As the calls for service have decreased, the referrals to community resources for young people have increased as SROs work to connect with those students they see every day.
Our SROs take the time, and I emphasize time, to talk to these students. We're not out here to charge. We're out here to be a resource for them. We're not out here to bash them. We're out here to show them the right way in which they need to do things.
Those sheriff's deputies are in high and middle schools. They do have a handful of vacancies right now that they're working to fill, and they're doing extra training and attending conferences over the summer. Now, the sheriff and school board discussed next steps for school safety at that meeting. Sheriff Burkhead is a proponent of adding metal detectors in schools. He also told the school board they will continue to work with the Heart Unarmed Responder teams for any students that might be in crisis. In Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Later today, President Trump is expected to sign his massive spending and tax cut bill. Demonstrators in Charlotte took to the streets ahead of that vote. As part of the bill, organizations that provide medical services, including Planned Parenthood, will no longer receive federal funding for its non-abortion health services. The bill also includes a work requirement for older adults to receive food assistance. There is a similar requirement for people to get or keep Medicaid health insurance.
People are in medical debt. People have student loan debt. And so people who are trying to work and improve their lives are stuck in this endless cycle of debt and not having enough.
And the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says that by 2034, the bill would result in nearly 12 million more uninsured people in the country. Supporters say the measures will save taxpayers money, enhance personal responsibility, and block fraud.
President Trump also says next year's celebration will include a UFC fight at the White House. The president has long-standing ties to UFC and its CEO, Dana White. Mr. Trump chose White to introduce him at the Republican National Convention last July. Trump added that the festivities will also include other professional and amateur sporting events, as well as a televised competition for high school athletes called the Patriot Games, led by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there.
President Trump says the National Mall in Washington, D.C. will also host an athletic competition featuring high school athletes from across the country. Tourists will soon have to pay more to visit national parks in the U.S. And President Trump signed a new executive order calling for more expensive fees for foreign visitors. And Trump says the plan will bring in more revenue to enhance the national park system while also keeping prices low for Americans. The exact increase has not been revealed.
Jeff, I do want to interrupt here and bring you some breaking news in the WRAL Live Center. In the past literal minute, we have confirmed that a man was electrocuted in Harnett County. The sheriff's office confirming that to us. In terms of how that happened, they are saying it appears that he was installing some kind of pole for an antenna, and that's when he hit an electrical line, and then the electrocution happened there. In terms of who that person is, we have not confirmed that just yet. We'll get on that and try to report back here in the WRAL Live Center.
So would you let a computer shop for you? Turns out a lot of people would. Why experts say consumers are adopting the technology quicker than anticipated.
And Paris's Seine River back open for swimmers tomorrow. Why the river has been closed to swimmers for more than 100 years. For news, traffic, and weather of the day, make sure to download the WRAL News app. A growing number of Americans say they would actually like a computer algorithm making shopping decisions for them.
I don't think you'd like it.
No.
I don't think you'd do it.
No.
Evan Brown explains why this is seen as a big generational shift.
With AI use accelerating, American consumers are adopting the technology much more quickly than anticipated. A new survey from tech consulting firm Accenture confirms it is a generational shift, with trust being the key. Now customers are forming emotional bonds with artificial intelligence. At least 36% consider AI to be a good friend, and 75% say they'd be willing to hand over their credit card and let the computer do the shopping.
Consumers would be willing to have it act as a personal shopper, a personal assistant for them, to actually go out and proactively make shopping purchases on their behalf.
Experts say the new trend is turning the AI movement into a sort of second self, with critical trust driving decision-making, even in their personal lives. 87% of those users say they're already leaning on AI for social and relationship advice.
This idea of it being a companion, a coach to help people, is clearly something that is becoming basically a norm.
But what's causing the shift? Accenture says the biggest driver is the way the tech is tailoring responses to specific individuals, a trend that's expected to pick up speed as more consumers turn to AI.
The depth of personalization and the nature of the interaction is fundamentally different. And obviously, for people that were Google users, none of that level of personalization existed.
That was Evan Brown reporting, and overall usage is growing as well. At least 70% of people surveyed said they have used artificial intelligence in the last year at least once.
Coming up, treasure hunt. Thousands of items up for bid, but there's a catch. Lucky winners won't know what they've won unless they win the silent auction, where people are willing to roll the dice after the break.
Plus, beach bacteria. Dozens of lakes and beaches are closed for the holiday. Ways you can stay safe before you dive in.
Welcome back. 12:43 on your 4th of July. You're looking live at White Lake. Plenty of people enjoying the lake today. It's gorgeous out there. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
You're looking for something alternative to do this weekend, maybe a little shopping trip is in your future. The Unclaimed Baggage Store in Alabama is holding its inaugural silent auction. The nation's only retailer of lost luggage is a top attraction in that state. 50,000 square feet of retail space. Guests can shop for everything from jewelry to clothing to mystery items.
Travel every single day, so even a fraction of a percent is going to add up. And the question is, what happens to all of those? And so we're able to provide a sustainable solution for lost and unclaimed things.
What an idea. The auction will also include luxury items, funny items, things that normally are or usually would only be found in their store's museum.
I saw some cute shoes on the wall. Yeah, okay. All right, well, look at this gorgeous view of Carolina Beach. It is absolutely packed today. Many Americans are headed to the shoreline to celebrate Independence Day. But as NBC's Emily Ikeda reports, some are in for a beach bummer because high levels of bacteria in the water are prompting closures.
With Independence Day festivities in full swing, beachgoers coast to coast are looking to make a big splash. But health experts are warning of the unseen dangers that could be lurking in the water.
There are a lot of different types of bacteria in beach water. Some of it can be naturally occurring. Other can be brought along from sewage that might get into beach water.
Experts say it's a pretty common summertime problem when water temperatures are higher and bacteria can grow more easily. Infections brought on by bacteria like Vibrio or E. coli can cause symptoms including nausea, fever, and diarrhea.
For most people, the issues are going to be minor, but for some people, it can result in what we call necrotizing fasciitis, some people call flesh-eating bacteria, which can result in amputations.
In recent weeks, at least 6 states have issued closures or advisories at certain beaches and lakes over high levels of bacteria in the water. It's caused 19 beaches to close in Massachusetts alone, prompting some residents to rethink their summer plans.
I kind of stopped going to the beach. I just don't like how unsanitary it is to be down there now.
And at popular shorelines in sunny Southern California, more than a dozen advisories between San Diego and LA counties are putting a damper on Independence Day.
If we didn't hear about that, we'd be in the water right now.
Definitely keeping an eye on any kind of symptoms that feel weird.
So what are some of the ways you can protect yourself before hitting the waves? Know before you go by checking the websites of your local health department, which will include current beach advisories and closures and up-to-date information on water quality and testing. And if you do plan on taking a dip, make sure you don't have any open wounds, scratches, or cuts, and try not to swallow water to avoid spoiling any July 4th fun.
And thank goodness our beach is not closed today. Carolina Beach, absolutely packed. Elizabeth just made me laugh, too. She goes, look, your dress matches the shaboomies.
I know, we're going to go because Michelle's here in her shaboomy dress. I don't think I've ever seen it so crowded. It is absolutely incredible. I was trying it. Mike Mays is in here. We're sitting back there. So is it 5 rows deep? Is it 6 rows deep? It is absolutely incredible. And all the people in the water, I mean, they're having a big time. Earlier this morning, we had the camera pointed in this direction, and there were at least 25 surfers there. Now, now that it's everybody's out and about, surfers were out there at like 7 a.m. It's 89 degrees here in the Triangle with a dew point of 63, which is absolutely incredible. It feels comfortable outside. We're going to see a high temperature climbing up into the low 90s, but with our dew point in the low 60s, it really feels good out there. I mean, it's a noticeable difference compared to yesterday. Because we're dry and we don't have a front coming through, we're going to be hard pressed to have any showers or thunderstorms pop up. You probably can remember counting on, maybe 2 hands, how many times you tried to go see the fireworks, 4th of July, and they get canceled or rescheduled because it is just that time of year where we have afternoon and evening storms. This is 2 o'clock, and you can see hardly anything pops up, maybe a little bit closer to the coast. They're around, 4, 5, 6 o'clock or so. But by 9 o'clock, by the time we get to sunset, before the fireworks start, it's just all gone. These are all going to be fueled by our daytime heating. Once the sun sets, we're done. 93 in Rock Raleigh and Durham, 94 in Fayetteville, and we will have absolutely no heat index to go along with it, as opposed to last week when we had temperatures in the low to mid 90s, but it felt like 105 to 107. None of that to worry about. Great looking fireworks forecast too, 85 at 7 o'clock, 82 at 9 o'clock, and the weekend outlook looking pretty good, changing a little bit as we've talked about over the last couple of days. Saturday still looks fairly dry. Couldn't rule out an isolated shower or thunderstorm in our southeastern counties. And then on Sunday, we have that coastal low that'll start to move on up and potentially bring us some rain. And look at what happens with our muggy meter. We're feeling good today and tomorrow really too. And then it bounces right on back into tropical for early next week. That will bounce up our heat index. So by Monday and Tuesday, the heat index 101 to 105, but really feeling good. Friday and Saturday, today and Saturday. And then, Sunday, we're just going to be watching the system. So they're going to send a Hurricane Hunter into it to see if there's a closed circulation, see how that system is starting to develop. We took a look earlier in the newscast at the computer models for it that kind of a lot of them brought it into South Carolina and then right across our area. But it is going to be a fairly weak system. The biggest impact that we see with this could be some heavy rain and definitely high rip current danger, especially from, say, Cape Lookout southward. Surf City, Topsail, Wrightsville, Carolina Beach, Cary Beach, all could have some high rip current danger today and tomorrow. The heaviest rainfall is likely to stay offshore, but along our southeastern coast, we could see maybe up to 2 or 3 inches between, say, today, tomorrow. It's not going to rain today, I should say, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. And then for us also, especially Sunday and potentially Monday. Even past Monday, it looks like we'll have fairly wet conditions, and we're looking at temperatures really starting to warm up. So for a 4th of July, today is not bad. It will be hot, but not humid, and very little chance for storms.
Really good, I say. It's awesome. Friday, making waves here. One fast food restaurant is satisfying cravings by land or by sea. How customers feel about delivery by motorboat.
No way.
Yeah.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we are following today. A man sleeping inside a home that went up in flames is now clinging to life. The home on Thrower Road in Grays Creek was destroyed on Tuesday. Aaron English is now spending his 4th of July at UNC's burn unit. Family members say he's in a medically induced coma and on life support. 65% of his body is burned, and his condition is extremely critical. Look for updates during our evening news starting at 4.
A 5-year-old girl who police say was shot during a road rage incident is home from the hospital. Emma's family sent us new pictures today, and it looks like the little girl is in good spirits, but still has the long road to recovery. Cary police say Charles Stevenson Jr. was driving aggressively Monday when he's accused of shooting into the pickup truck, hitting Emma in the leg. Stevenson is in jail without bond.
Well, this 4th of July, so many fireworks shows and celebrations are happening across our area. That includes big displays at the Lenovo Center and Carter Finley Stadium. And don't forget, multiple at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. Find a list of more than 24 local fireworks displays and holiday events on our website, WRAL.com. Just search fireworks.
For the first time in more than 100 years, anyone, if they want, will be able to take a dip in Paris's Seine River. Public swimming reopens at 3 sites along the Seine tomorrow. For centuries, the river served as a dumping ground for human-made runoff and waste. Swimming was banned there in 1923 when the river was deemed unsafe. Paris spent more than $1 billion to clean up the river for the 2024 Olympic Games.
It'd be a dream if, the Seine became drinkable. That would be the ultimate goal, right? But already swimming in it is really good.
Even if I weren't pregnant, I wouldn't do it here. I don't think it's clear enough to swim in the Seine, yeah.
The swimming sites will have lifeguards on duty, and water quality tests will be conducted every day.
Well, sometimes you want what you want, and it doesn't matter how much it costs. 5 ladies on a pleasure cruise off the coast of Florida got a craving and just had to have Chick-fil-A. A third-party vendor service deployed their small watercraft delivery, and one of the passengers says it was the best $50 they ever spent. Oh my gosh.
That was not on a Sunday.
No.
Our pet of the day comes to us today from the SPCA of Wake County. Ginkgo is a 5-year-old neutered male short-hair cat. He's exceptionally sweet, loves rubbing his whole body on everyone he meets. Ginkgo is a big fan of naps and chin rubs and cuddles. His adoption fee is $65, which includes his neuter, microchip, vaccines, and other wellness care. You can contact the SPCA of Wake County to get the adoption process started.
Closing the loop. It's a road nearly 30 years in the making. Now the DOT is working to complete 540 around Raleigh, where crews are clearing land right now, and the projected completion date that's coming up today at 4.
Our walking Shibumi shade and I will
I should have done a little twirl for everybody.
We'll be headed out of here very shortly. NBC News Daily is up next for you on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Happy 4th of July. Have a great day and a great weekend.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.